Going from Forest to Tottenham, how did you feel when you got approached to come and play for Spurs?
Oh, wow. I mean, there's been an awful lot of speculation. I probably had my best season at Nottingham Forest was when I was 18, when I first broke in. And at the end of that first season, I ended up getting glandular fever. People say it's a kissing disease. It wasn't for kissing all the women, let me tell you that. My immune system's got so low. I'd been played about 40 games, and then I just hit rock bottom. And then I came back, kept getting hamstrings injuries, I had a hernia operation, and I thought, no way, I just kept picking injury after injury up. I'd been linked with Liverpool. And then it come to a point where no one was really going to take the gamble on me. And thankfully, that's when Tottenham in 2005, when it looked like it was all Reedy that they were looking to sign. And people say it was buy Reedy, got Dawes free. But I didn't think it was a bad bargain at the time when you look back 10 years later when I went on to play as many games as I did. So I look back and think it was good business by Tottenham.
And the thing is as well, like you mentioned, because obviously you went with Reed, does that make you feel good that you go with someone you already know to a new club?
Yeah, but I was never a player that had to be centre of attention. I could always be in sort of the back and go about my business quietly. And there was an awful lot of talk about Reedy coming in, and I came with a stress fracture in my shin, and I had to wait probably 2 or 3 months before I got the opportunity. So that was never a problem for me. So going with someone else, you can always be compared, and Reedy might have been hindered Reedy in the end because he hit the ground running. I remember the first game was against Portsmouth, and Reedy started, and I was in the director's box, and I was thinking, oh, I so wish this was me. I remember watching Ledley King thinking, oh geez, how am I ever going to play in this Premier League? This guy was a Rolls Royce. I'm thinking, well, I've come from the Championship. This is a big step up. But thankfully, I did get the opportunity at Anfield in April, and Ledley guided me and looked after me. As some of the people said who came next door. I said Ledley was a Rolls Royce, but I did all the ugly work, and that's why I look like this.
I was going to say, because obviously growing up, for me, watching you and King was just immense. And like you say, he's a Rolls Royce. Would you say he's probably the best centre-back partner you've played with?
Oh, 100%. And I was very fortunate because when I was at Nottingham Forest and I was an 18-year-old, I look at kids now, certainly as a centre-half, you get better with age. And I played with Des Walker. Des was 36. Des was probably coming towards the end of it. But when I came to Spurs and I had Ledley, oh my gosh. I always say, I normally have him beside me and everyone thinks, oh, you're saying this because Ledley's beside you. I would never have had the Spurs career I had if I didn't have him beside me. Phenomenal player, would have been one of the best. And I'm talking about for generations. He was exceptional. What a player, world class. But unfortunately, with his knee injuries, he probably didn't go on to fulfil his potential. But I tell you what, honestly, as I said, I wouldn't have had the career I had without him beside me.
No, he was incredible. I think as well, obviously, you mentioned about his injuries and sometimes, which obviously meant you were also able to wear the captain's armbands at times. How did it feel going onto the pitch, being the captain for Tottenham at times?
Very, very proud. I captained all 3 of the clubs that I played for, and as a young player at Forest, it was challenging at the time because you've got some senior players and you've got that responsibility on your shoulders. And I experienced the same when Ledley retired. Then I have to take on board more responsibilities, speaking to the board, sorting bonuses out. And at this moment in time, we had some big players, some superstars that had played at Real Madrid, different kinds of clubs, and you're the captain, and you have to earn that respect. And by all means, I was not the best player in the team. I think it's changed a little bit now, but what you do is you've got to lead by example, on and off the field, and I think that's probably why I was given the armband. I do believe that. But it was a real proud moment, and every time I walked out at White Hart Lane or captained the team, as I said, not just for our club here, but Forest and Hull City, it was a proud moment, and I always treasured those special times.
And obviously you mentioned White Hart Lane, and obviously when you scored your first goal for Tottenham against Chelsea, to do it at the Lane, to do it against them lot, how did that make you feel as well?
Well, I tell you what, I'd got an awful lot of shit before that because I used to miss some sitters. And I said, guys, just relax. I said, I will score a goal. I'm saving it for a big moment. And that was certainly a big moment. It'd been a long time since we beat Chelsea. Chelsea were a team that, unfortunately, for that moment and that era, were dominating the Premier League, winning cups, winning the Champions League, which pains me to say. And having gone 1-0 down, JJ whipped the ball in and guided it into that far corner. And I said, lads, I fucking told you I'd save it for a big one, didn't I? And then Lenny scored, and the rest is history. And I remember it. It was a special night, bonfire night, 2005-06. Should remember it. Do you guys remember it? Yeah. So it was a special moment, one I remember.
And obviously, as well, we all love the Lane. What was that atmosphere at the old ground? Because I feel like we're slowly getting that back at the new ground. What was it like?
Oh, well, it was all I knew. You know, White Hart Lane, the fans were very close to the pitch. The atmosphere was always rocking. And I just loved it. Look, I never played in front of a sellout at the new stadium, but it takes time for players to adapt to going to the new stadium. I know that for fact. You look at the red team in North London, when they went to the new stadium, it took them a little time. It took us a little time. But you see, you as fans, and everyone says, oh, we miss White Hart Lane. For us to go to the next level, we had to go to the new stadium. I mean, that place blows my mind. It's incredible. But White Hart Lane was all I knew. It really, really was. And I had so many special moments. And even when I came back as a Hull City moment, I had tears, crying on White Hart Lane. It was emotional coming back because I had so many good memories.